हेलो हेलो। जैसे मन आ रहा है ना। हेलो 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 हेलो।
Good morning, everyone. Uh, I hope you have a nice morning here and you like the campus today. And it is with the deep sense of respect and gratitude that I stand before you today to welcome each and every one of you to the Anke Bhan Memorial Lecture. This occasion holds special significance as we come together to commemorate the life of a visionary leader, a brilliant thinker, and an inspired teacher who appreciated the need to invest broadly in biomedical research and innovation as a way to improve human health. This memorial lecture serves as an emotional reminder of Dr. Bhan's unwavering commitment to advancing medical science, his groundbreaking research, and his pivotal role in the development of the rotavirus vaccine. Dr. Bhan was positioned as Secretary DBT. He was actively involved in establishing BIRAC. His unwavering dedication and immeasurable achievements to the field of public health have left a legacy that will continue to motivate many and foster the development of public health leaders around the world. As we explore into the discussions and reflections throughout today's lecture, let us not only honor Dr. Bhan's memory but also strive to carry forward his torch of excellence. I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished speaker and experts who will share their insights and perspectives during this memorial lecture. Your presence and contributions make this event not just a remembrance but a platform for continued learning and growth. Thank you and welcome to the Anke Bhan Memorial Lecture. Now I request everyone to stand for 1 minute and more. Thank you. I would like to invite our respected Director, Madam, Dr. Balram, Professor Hasnain, Dr. Vedana, and Dr. Hegre, and to come on the stage and pay tribute to the late Dr. M.K. Bhan. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Director Madam to come on the stage and address the audience.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sonu. Very good morning, one and all. It's such a good evening and a very memorial day for all of us. The outset, on behalf of Nya Fraternity, I would like to thank Professor Balram Bhargava for having made it. I personally know how busy he was post-Nasi. He was at Lucknow, reached middle of night. Thank you so much. Professor Syed Hussain, who has been very kind to agree. Let me tell you, Professor Hussain, this event would not have been complete without your Professor Redana's and Dr. Subir's presence in this hall when we have this lecture, the very first Professor M.K. Bhan Memorial Lecture. Thank you very much for being with us. And I'm personally aware, Dr. Redana, we are having a program of PABA, but you were very kind to agree to be here. Dr. Subir is in town. He was supposed to be here, but incidentally, he has to fly to Bangalore. So we'll dearly miss him for this event. So I thought instead talking, I would just make a small presentation so that everyone can cherish what we are and how we travel all the way. So God is very kind to NIAB. We are bestowed with the West Rainbow over us time and again. Well, it is Professor Bhan. His thoughts and his ideas to very many institutions which we have, a DBT institution in country, very uh, a specific institution, and he was surely the catalyst. And I'm sure had he been here, he would have really loved seeing the campus what Professor Bhargava and Professor Hussain was saying. This is a journey started at officially it is 2011, but it started somewhere in early 2010 or late 2009 when it stuck to Professor Bhan that we should have an institute like this, Institute of Animal Biotechnology. This is not to boast on a humble note. This is the only institution in the country of its own kind doing the research related to animal biotechnology. Especially we focus on large animals. So this is our journey, and today we are at this campus. Salutations to all of them, and a lot to owe to Professor Bhan on this important day. Well, I think Dr. Sonu has already read about it, but yes, he was a noted pediatrician. We talk about Rotavat and Professor Bhan's face come to all of us. This is all what she was just saying, all the accomplishment. Whatever we say will be very less a drop in ocean on my side. So this is what exactly is happening when Professor Bhan was really working. I know a lot of stories because at that time I was part of ICR, IDRI. So ICR felt that it's animal is our domain, but it's no one's domain. It's a national thing with which we work, and he was a thinker of that kind. So things happen, and Dr. Redana, the founder director, and a lot to do with this institution is seen into majority of the pictures, discussing and doing things and planning how do we move ahead, and things started. And it started from University of Hyderabad. And this is the time Professor Sayed said, had you not been that kind of vice chancellor who would have had that vast outlook over a phone. I personally remember he telling me the story in Prayagraj. It was he who immediately agreed that 200 acres. Else, their students, we would have been sitting in Haryana because that was the thing which was going on. So thank you very much, Professor Hasnain, for making us to be here in this town scientifically and academically. Which thanks a lot. And then we were housed in University of Hyderabad again. Without Vice Chancellor permission, nothing happens. And he was, well, he was part of it, I would just say. And a founder director, Professor Redden, I was in university, and it just happened in the correct way, the way it should happen. These are our historical pictures. I shall fail in my duties if I do not talk about two gentlemen out here, Professor George John, the then advisor at DBT, and Dr. A.K. Rawat, who have worked restlessly in making the institution, along with Professor Bhan and many others in the team. But yes, these two people, we don't have them today, but here in this meeting. But surely the institute owes a lot to these two people also. And this is all goes on, and I will not. When Professor Redana visited Dr. Hassan, you were mentioned, we lost him. But yes, this is how the NIV was moving since the beginning. Some glimpses to share with all of you, and this is a perfect picture which is very dear to Dr. Redana. I know what he was telling you, and where from they clicked it, it was tough time. So when people really came and they thought what to do with the water body, and wise men, and I believe there must have been some women as well. So they thought to keep this water body, and fortunately we have the water body with us. It's a kind of Gyan Kund, the name was given, and students and scientists, they do cherish it. So some of the olden days. And then we moved to interim facility at Miapur, as I said, and the majority of us must have visited amongst the guests I'm talking to the Miapur campus. The science was going very fine from the interim campus as well, because we are just 12 years old. And this is how we just moved. So main campus which started, these are some pictures. Because of the time, I thought I can just show some glimpses, especially the students also would like to cherish besides our guests. And this is what is a new campus wherein we sit, lot of efforts. It was Dr. Subir who was the director, and Dr. Renu Madam who was the dean and secretary. When this was Dr. Rawat who worked let's see to it. And Dr. Harshvardhan inaugurating the main building. It was 2011 August. And this is how we all Neabians are, and we are continuing growing. Many things happened. This is all what Dr. Subir was doing, including during COVID's time. One very good thing which Dr. Subir did during COVID time, unlike many other campuses where campuses asked students to leave and vacate the campus because it's COVID, he did the other way down. And that's how maybe Nia was blessed with good leaders. He said, students, stay here. And he did not let them go out anywhere. So they stayed here, and the work continued. And well, like all of us. And then, the baton was given to me in 2021, and we started different activities. Professor Vijay Raghavan inaugurated our some good facilities, and we continue with different MOUs and science. These are the salutations. And before I come to these people, by default, Professor Redana, and before Professor Redana, Dr. Said his name, thank you so much for giving us this NIV where we stand today and we look forward. We owe to both of you quite a lot. And all former directors, all former secretaries, and the principal scientific advisor, that time it was Dr. Vijay Raghavan, and last but not the least, they were the leaders, but Neabians, I purposely wrote Neabians because it includes all, our admin people, technical officer, even students. Believe me, Professor Bhargava, they all were standing like a shadow with the people who were making the institute. So all Neabians, salutations. And this is where we were a while ago. So today we are this 2011 till date, and so we could transfer 6 technologies. We are 12 years old, 9, and 3 in pipeline, and we do quite a lot of things. Indigenous, Indigao. I'll not go much into science, but yes, this is to our credit institute. And this year itself, the group again went ahead and decoded the first genome, which is called the alien tracking. So now the country people, everybody can use it. It's available in NCBI. This is the DPT's One Health first One Health consortia, which was built during Dr. Renu Madam's time, amid COVID. And we work on zoonotic diseases as well, and we run some of the flagship programs up to the extent that we transfer the technologies. Upfront science, we do quite a lot of things. It's not that quantum dots can't be joined with the biological sciences, so we do that as well. And we do work on important zoonotic diseases, be it the brucella, wherein we have to our credit a DIVA-capable kit, which is the point of care diagnostic, transferred to the manufacturer. We develop different organoids for many purposes, including the zoonotic diseases. We work another important zoonotic disease, TB. We do have a 3D biosphere, and I was talking to Padma Priya, Professor Bhargava the other day. That is the first complete genome which has been decoded by NIV. She was not knowing. So that's how I believe that seniors and policymakers like all of you are here. Silos won't work, and NIV is doing its bit in a very humble tone, but yet making a dent as a director, I think, right, in making that. Toxoplasma gondii, which is an ignorant zoonotic disease, a parasitic infestation. So we have a point of care diagnostic antigen-based detection kit. And when it was LSDV, country was making you a dry, NIV silently, as per its nature, worked and decoded the full genome sequence, as well as did a immunoinformatic approach. We have some MEVs. For PCOS, one of the scientists here developed a PCOS goat model, wherein for human it's a devastating problem. So one can think of working with that. That's all science, which I'm reframed talking now. And then animal bioreactors, biotherapeutics, a transit lab, which we've started and it's working now. So we have shown a proof of concept making a hormones in the milk of rabbits, and we're going ahead with a large animal producing a therapeutic protein. This is what I already shared. Sorry for the repeat. Sometimes, when you hurry and bring in from here to there, that's my laboratory work on animal stem cell therapeutics, and we are scaffolding many things. We have material scientists with us, we have nanobiologists with scaffolding cells to this and taking it ahead for livestock and pets for the therapy. And this is a nutrition lab. The whole idea here is there are 4 compartment stomach animals. So we need to bypass the protein from the human. So scientists are developing the nano delivery. So with the pH change, it could be directly taken and bypassed. The human is bypassed. We share the ADSL3 facilities with University of Hyderabad, Professor Spain, and we have our own animal facility, biosafety ADSL2 facility, which is commissioned already. Besides that, we do have a vaccine testing facility, which we are seriously thinking to convert in veterinary vaccine testing. Yesterday, the report also came to us, and they are going to have a second visit. Well, I think this is in honor of the speaker of this day. I don't know how many of you have watched Vaccine War. Yes, I think the date got released 2 days after that I watched. And Nana Patekar is the one who's playing the role, but real hero is amongst us. And it's none other than Professor Balram Bhargava. So applause to Professor Bhargava. It is he who restlessly worked, and surely it is his book, and surely, sir, it's going viral. I mean it. With that, I thank you very much for your patience here.
Thank you, ma'am. It was really awesome introduction, and I will also be speaking a bit about it. So now I would like to introduce Professor Hasnan. So I know, sir, in a couple of meetings I shared with you, and I think you don't remember. I'm Sonu Gandhi. So yeah. So Professor Hasnan was appointed as the first director of CDFT in 1999, and from 2005 to 11, he served as the VC of University of Hyderabad. Later, Professor Hasnan took the charge of VC of Jamia Hamdard, and in 2016 to 21, And Sir is the recipient of many prestigious awards, including Bhatnagar Prize. And in 2006, Professor Hasnain was awarded the Padmashri, which is the highest civilian award. And not only national awards, but also the various international recognitions he has, such as the Rare Humboldt Research Prize and the Robert Koch Fellowship. Then Sir is a fellow of all the major scientific academies in India, and also at the international platforms. He is the first Indian elected as the member of German National Academy of Sciences, Leopoldina, and the youngest to be elected as a fellow of TIVAS Trieste. He was the member of International Advisory Board Europathogenomics Network of Excellence. So I invite you, sir, to join me to share your journey with Professor Ankivan. Anyway, sir, this way all about. Thank you.
Very good morning. Bhaunara. All well? Good to be here in Hyderabad, a city where I have lived for a lifetime, literally. In the Indian Penal Code, if you are sentenced for life imprisonment, you are asked to spend 13, 14 years, and if you have done well, you are released 1 or 2 years. So I spent about 13 years here, so I have spent a lifetime here. And I love this place. It's the first time I'm here at NIAB. Thank you so much, Professor Sharma, for inviting me to be here. Thank you. And the best part is I'm here along with my very good friend, Professor Balram Bhargava. I thought I'll use this opportunity to talk about my good friend who we just saw. I can't still believe that he's no more. I still feel that he'll walk away and walk and tell us, "Aur Sayyid kya ho raha tera batao." That's the way he used to talk, at least to me. He was, as we all know, he received all the Indian awards, including Bhatnagar Award and honorary doctorate and whatnot. He has been one of the reasons why he's so well known is because of his contribution to the rotavirus vaccine. That is the most common cause of severe diarrheal disease in children worldwide, but it can be interrupted by vaccination. And that's where Dr. Bhan realized that we should do this. It's very interesting. About 3 decades ago, he was working in the lab. He's a very old of a clinical scientist, and being a pediatrician, he found children were suffering from this rotavirus infection. And he noticed one very queer observation. Those people who got infected with a particular strain, the native strain at that time, known as the 116E, subsequent infections by even a more virulent strain prevented these children from getting further infected. And that triggered an alarm to him that, wait a minute, does it mean that this virus can be used as a vaccination against rotavirus? And that is where it all started. He developed this further, this strain. He did not stop after making this discovery, but persevered, formed groups, and partnered with Bharat Biotech International, again a company that had a very long association with. The first grant that they got from the DST, I happened to be chairing that committee, and Krishna Allah is a very good friend of mine, and they partnered wonderfully well and make sure that the vaccine passes through regulatory processes, which were all new at that time. Dr. Bhan, in fact, set up these regulatory processes. They were not established before that because there was no human vaccine from India. So he had to, being a pediatrician, being a clinician, and being a very respected person, everything would go on. And RotaVac went on to become the first Indian rotavirus vaccine to be pre-qualified with WHO, and then later on, it was integrated into India's universal immunization program, opening it up for other third world countries and other countries which are economically not that good. Dr. Bhan's passionate efforts brought together the Indian government, international organizations, the non-profit sector, and private builders to build this vaccine. The Indo-US Vaccine Action Program, I used to be a member of it when it started for a few years, for maybe over a decade, a bilateral funding mechanism between the governments of India and USA, which were originally started by Dr. Manju Sharma. I was hoping to see her here but I think she was not able to come. And this was the time when she was a secretary DBT. They provided the initial funding for Rotavac. Then PATH came on board in early 2001 after a grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, and Dr. Bhan formalized a partnership structure with various stakeholders, including the UK-based Wellcome Trust. So you can see the kind of integration, the kind of networking that Dr. Bhan could bring in national, international, government, private, all put together. I don't think anybody could have done that, this kind of integration, if Dr. Bhan would not have been able to not have been around. I personally feel very privileged because I had the unique opportunity to work and learn from two outstanding bosses. Dr. Manju Sharma was my boss when I was at the CDFD, and Dr. Raj Bhan was my boss subsequently after Dr. Manju Sharma completed her term. And during my 6 years of stay, more than 6 years of stay at CDFD, as the first director of CDFD, I had a standing invitation from Dr. Bhan, Sayyed, tu jab Delhi aaya kar, to mere saath raha kar. And I took it seriously, and I used to stay with him whenever I used to go to Delhi. And in the evening, we'll be discussing latest paper, latest article that has come up in Science, in New England Journal. It was a fun, it was a pleasure, and he would treat me to good non-vegetarian Kashmiri food. And I really enjoyed that privilege because I got to know him more closely and found him as one of a kind and a rare human being. I remember his telephone call one day. That was the day before his departure to Memorial Sloan Catering. He called me, Sayyed, tu kahan reh raha hai? मैंने कहा मैं तो दिल्ली में हूँ, तू आजा मिलने मुझसे. मैंने कहा well, यार मैं जा रहा हूँ Sloan Catering अपने इलाज कराने. I said, when? कल मैं निकल रहा हूँ. And I left immediately, and we could spend the whole evening together with his family and my wife and all of us. And I didn't realize that visit would be the last visit between me and Dr. Bhan. Because after he came back, I saw him a couple of times in Ames, but that was a different Bhan that I saw, not the Bhan that I knew. This news was a shock for me, and as I said, I can never forget that last evening that I had with him. As someone rightly observed, there are three kinds of family. One that you are born into, all of us are born into a family, that's our primary family. And one that you create through friendship, one that you acquire in marriage. Many of you may not have been married here, you're students here, but you create a family ties when you marry. And the third family is the one that you acquire through friendship. His first family was based in Kani Kadal, Srinagar. I happened to visit this place in Kashmir. And after his marriage to Girja, his second family started. And he had two wonderful children, Shireen and Gautam, who were related to their parents by DNA. And Abhishek, who came to Bhan family as a teenager. He was not related, but he adopted them into the Bhan family through a friendship. He has two grandchildren, Rehan and Ashi, who represent the third generation of the second family. What was his third family? Bhan's third family was built from an unbreakable bond with his community of students, mentees, and colleagues around the globe literally. He had so many students who have working at NIH, working at Stanford, working at name the place. He had his students there. He had such capacity for love that each one of them thought that they had a bigger piece of his heart than the other. The truth is, he had room for everyone. And he made each one of them feel special. His humility, generosity, and desire to learn from everyone exemplified a form of collaborative and empathetic leadership. His relationships were built on the foundation of idea generation, mutual respect, and a burning desire to better the lives of others. That is something I did not find in most people that I met. Dr. Bhan not only established new national, international partnerships, but was also deeply committed to nutrition-related issues. Many of us were not aware that his contribution. He saw great potential in ultra rice as a tool to address malnutrition in children. Of course, this project did not go further, but because of the Rotavac had already taken up. A true visionary, he established the Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council. We know it as the BIRAC. And some of us who have gained by BIRAC in the form of research grant, we know what BIRAC has done. It's a public sector organization that continues to facilitate academia industry research collaboration to develop crucial biotech products. A number of products have come up. It's a one of the kind public-private partnership created as a not-for-profit institution. The Regional Center for Biotechnology at Faridabad, the THSCI at Faridabad, and the NIAB were established by him, and they continue to climb higher levels of excellence. We just heard a beautiful overview. I can't believe NIAB has been able to do so much in this 11 years that it has been in existence. I think the credit for that goes completely to all the three directors. Two of them are sitting here, and I would like to salute them for doing the wonderful work. That's great effort. On some other occasion, may not be today, I will narrate the origin of NIAB. How one phone call from Dr. Bhan to me resulted in a decision to start NIAB within HCU campus, all within a matter of 24 hours, including approval from the then Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, who just signed wherever I asked him to sign. And after that, it became history. NIAB was created, and we now see it. Wonderful place. We gave you 200 acres. I think you have used 100 acres very well. Grab the other 100 acre also and develop. You need to grow much. You really need to grow a lot. I think this was officially sanctioned by the Minister of Hyderabad governing body, and of course the government of Andhra Pradesh at that time also approved it. By inviting another very distinguished medical scientist, my very good friend Balram Bhargava, who is a very eminent cardiologist. I'm also his patient, and he just looks at my nerve, my pulse, and then says, "You are absolutely fine, but you get this test done." And when the results come, he says, "I told you you're absolutely fine. Why do you worry?" I had a stent put in my one stent put. That was back in 2005. Till then, everything is fine, and it says your stent is doing everything is doing fine, so you don't need to worry. So that is the caliber of this person who also displayed his merit, displayed his excellence, being the secretary, DHR, and Director General of ICMR. And I think he has a lot of things, including the Stanford Biodesign. When I was at IIT, I knew what he did at IIT DBT collaboration using AIMS as a model. Stanford Biodesign. Those of you who don't know, do a Google and find out. But I think his major role has been the role he played in ensuring that COVID does that kind of damage it did in other parts of the world in India. And this was, I would also like to give a compliment to our Prime Minister, Shri Modi ji. He gave this complete one department, a complete authority to handle COVID. There were multiple aspirants. They said, "We will also work on it. We will," but he said, "No, nothing doing. Only ICMR will do it." And I think that was a great decision based on the abilities and based on the recognition of Dr. Balram Bhargava. And I'm very happy he's going to talk today about what he did for COVID. All of us know India had the least numbers in terms of the numbers that we had, population that we have. We are the largest population in the world, but yet we did not encounter that kind of a problem that other countries. And all of this credit goes to one man who is here before us and will be talking about it. Friends, I would like to congratulate Dr. Padu Sharma, not only for inviting me to be here, but also for celebrating the man, Dr. M.K. Bhan, who not only was an outstanding human being and a scientist, who would have been 76 years old exactly about a month ago. About a month ago, he would have celebrated his 76th birthday. But God had something else in mind. He took him away from us. His contributions are so profound that had he been alive today, Raj Bhan would have brought the first Nobel Prize for India in the area of physiology and medicine. So profound were his contributions, starting from observation to actually benefiting millions of children across the globe. That was Raj Bhan's idea. That is what he could have easily gotten the Nobel Prize, there's no doubt, but he left a bit too early. This vaccine continues to impact the lives of millions of children in India and globally. I would like to end by quoting John Maxwell, and I quote, "A leader is one who knows the way, A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. I miss you, Raj.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to introduce Professor Vedana, who is currently occupied at Department of Animal Sciences, School of Life Sciences, University of Hyderabad. Sir was the founder director of NIAB, and Professor Vedana is an eminent Indian scientist who is working in the field of physiology and pathological studies related to inflammation and cancer diseases. We eagerly anticipate his words of wisdom, reflections on his remarkable journey, and the valuable insights he graciously shared with us today. Sir, I invite you to come on the stage and share your journey with Professor M.K. Bhan.
Good morning. Let me first thank the director for giving me the opportunity to attend this Dr. M.K. Bhan Memorial Lecture. It is very important for me to be here, in the sense to say a few words, specifically with my association with the Dr. M.K. Bhan and the genesis of NIAB. And I am also delighted to see Dr. Hasnain was also equally important for the genesis of this institute, with whom I was associated very closely. And if I recall the association with Dr. M.K. Bhan, which started much before, you all may be aware of the Federation of Asian Biotech Association, for which Dr. Hasnain is one of the patrons. Dr. M.K. Bhan is also the patron of FABA. And in fact, the logo that you see for FABA was in fact was inaugurated in the presence of Dr. Hasnain and Mr. B.P. Acharya in somewhere in 2004 or 2005, when it was first. And FABA has been organizing the BioAsia every year in Hyderabad, which has become a global biobusiness forum. And several times he visited, and I had the pleasure of interacting with him during BioAsia programs. And with reference to my association with the establishment of this institute, as Dr. Hasnain was telling, Dr. Bhan has called Dr. Hasnain and then expressed the idea of establishing. And similarly, a call came when I was outside Hyderabad attending a conference and so. Would you like to take up this assignment? Just like that. Never we had any discussion about NIAB. We know that there are NIAB is being planned, but never there was any discussion about my role or my association, anything. Just like that, he called, maybe he was sitting with Dr. Bhan and then called me. And I said, okay, if you feel that I am capable of doing this, and I fit for this position, then I said I will take it up. That's how I came into this establishment of this institute. And these days, nothing will happen just like that. And getting any appointment is not so easy, specifically when you say about the director. So that itself tells the character of Dr. M.K. Bhan and also Dr. Hasnain. And they see, identify, pick up the leaders, and then um, help them grow further. And so then, once I have taken as responsibility as the officer special duty, it all started with starting with what kind of name we should give. National Institute of Animal Biotechnology. When we started searching, Googling, there are several other NIABs, very similar but different in different countries. When I told him about it, don't worry about all those things. In India, there will be only one NIAB. You can go ahead with this one. Then about the logo design. We had a logo design competition, and so several logos were there. And in fact, Dr. Bhan had chosen finally this one. And in fact, in this logo design, initially, Mr. B.P. Acharya, in one of the meetings in Taj Banjara, the hotels. So when we were having a meeting, he just scribbled on the paper, tissue paper. And in fact, the designers have modified it, and that is the design that you see. And then at each and every meeting that we had, as he is always buzzed with ideas. It is very difficult to cope up with, and I get the opportunity whenever he is visiting Hyderabad, picking him up from the airport and then also dropping him at the airport. That is the time, dedicated time that I get to interact more closely about him. And in that journey, he comes up with so many ideas for this institute, how it has to be designed, what should be the plan, and many such kind of things. And when we set up the interim facility, also in that, he played a key role, and also in finalizing some of the things. Until 2012, when he was the secretary, I had the pleasure of meeting him on several occasions, and designing the entire thing, and also establishing international tie-ups, specifically with the Rosalind Institute and the Cornell University and many others. And so his advice was, and as Dr. Asmin was pointing out, his contributions, he is a visionary. And today, whatever that you see in establishing DHSTA, in establishing NIAB, and the more important is with reference to the establishment of BIRAC. BIRAC setting it up outside the organization, outside the Department of Biotechnology. There is no way that within the Department of Biotechnology, you will get that kind of autonomy to fund the not only academic institutions, but also to the industry. And he was responsible to set it up outside. Otherwise, BIRAC would not have done that kind of excellent job. Today, you see large number of incubation centers across the country, and also a large number of startup companies were funded by BIRAC, and that has really revolutionized the growth of innovation and entrepreneurship in the country. That is one example. Then another example that Dr. Hassan was mentioning about rotavirus vaccine. If you see the entire pharma and biopharma industries are more towards generics and biosimilars. No innovative product is coming up in the country, and no innovation will come without having collaborations with academic institutions and also international collaborations. And he has shown the path to the industry that innovations can come only through collaborations. A number of academic institutions within India and outside, a number of other organizations, international organizations were involved in developing this rotavirus vaccine. Otherwise, it is not possible. And none of our pharma industries are having that kind of courage and willingness to take up such kind of innovation. And at that time, though, Dr. Krishna Ellam could be convinced to take up this one, and with all the support that has come up, he could come up with rotavirus vaccine, and which is saving millions of children around the world. So such kind of contributions, we always come with the visionary leaders who is daring enough to take up such kind of thing. So in that breed of scientists, Dr. Hasnain also comes that. And Dr. Balram Bhargava has become global leader now with the vaccine war. And in fact, the Federation of Asian Biotech Association recognized his contributions during the COVID time. And we had the honor of giving him FABA Excellence Award. And unfortunately, he could not come, but we had the opportunity to honor him. So with that, I think once again, thank Dr. Charu Sharma for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Balram Bhargava. Dr. Bhargava's journey in the realm of healthcare is a testament to his firm dedication, exceptional leadership, and profound impact on the lives of countless individuals. Dr. Bhargava is currently serving as the chief of Cardiothoracic Center at AIIMS. He was the former DG of ICMR and Secretary of the Department of Health and Health Research, a division under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. As the DG of ICMR, Dr. Bhargava had been at the lead of advancing medical research, shaping public health policies, and leading India's response to various health challenges. He is a fellow of various national and international academies. In recent years, he has been at the forefront of managing several public health crises in India, including COVID-19, and played a pivotal role in the development of indigenous vaccine named as Covaxin. In recognition of his outstanding contributions, Dr. Bhargava has received numerous awards and honors, including the S.N. Bose Centenary Award, Platinum Jubilee Award, the Vastik Award, Tata Innovation Fellowship, and in 2014, Dr. Balram was also honored with the highest civilian award, Padmashri, for his contribution to the field of cardiology and medicine. He is one of the laureates of 2015 UNESCO Equatorial Guinea International Prize for Research in the Life Sciences in 2019. He received the Dr. Lee Jong-wook Memorial Prize for Public Health. Dr. Balram wrote a book, Going Viral, Making of Covaxin, which beautifully expressed the scenic views of COVID pandemic. The recent movie, The Vaccine War, showed the convention, commitment, and clarity by which India could do it. As Dr. Balram said, only science can win this war, and India did it. We are proud of you, sir. With this, I would like to quote that कुछ किए बिना ही जय जयकार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. It is an honor to have you among us today, sir, and please join us welcoming hands Dr. Balram Bhargava with utmost enthusiasm and appreciation.
Good morning, everybody. Absolutely a pleasure and an honor to be in this world-class institute, National Institute of Animal Biotechnology. This institute exemplifies India's stride, how India is progressing, how India is leading, how India is going to be one of the superpowers in time to come. And this institute is an example of the same. I congratulate all the three directors, starting from Dr. Rana, Dr. Subir, and the current Dr. Tharu Sharma, for maintaining the quality and the impeccable science that this institute is performing. And I wish it all the best as well. But today we are meeting to pay tribute to a gentleman, and I'd like to emphasize the word a gentleman, Professor M.K. Bhan, who was not only a philosopher, not only a mentor, a great thinker, and most importantly, a dreamer. I called him a dreamer because he would dream of ideas which were out of the box. Amazing ideas he would come up with and just said, go for it. Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Some of his ideas, I mean, most philosophers and dreamers are ineffective. But he was a philosopher and a dreamer who was effective and ultimately achieved tangible things of his dreams and made people live with his dreams and live along with his dreams and realize with his dreams. I think that is the most important quality that that gentleman had. We all miss him. He was not only a great human being, but a great mentor. Finding good mentors. If you are able to find a good guru, then half of your battles are won. And he was one of the ones who was a guru to not only me, but to several people. Amazing gentleman and very loving, caring, affectionate. A brilliant individual. And as Dr. Hasnain has said, that he would have been one of the greatest scientists of physiology and medicine in this country, not only the previous century, but at the turn of the century. He has contributed immensely. And I think his role will be remembered by us always. And I think with his legacy, we will take it forward, and we are taking it forward, and we will definitely not disappoint him. And I see so many youngsters here who are committed, met with some of them in the morning as well, who have come back to India. And there was I mean, if you look at an interesting observation that was made, why are there no top people in the US like Sundar Pichai or Satya Nadella or Indra Nooyi from China? Why are they not at the top there? Because they started a program called 1,000 Turtles program. Turtles normally come back to their home. So they got all their people back to China. And that is why none of them made it there, but then they made China big. And that is what is happening in India and will happen in India, with people returning back to India and many people being trained at the best universities in the world. And this institute is an example of the same, with its connections with Cornell and Harvard and other institutions. And I wish this institute all the best, and God bless NIAB. So before I start the oration, I would like to show you a small video clip in Telugu. One.
இந்த மொத்த ப்ராஜெக்ட் டாப் சீக்ரெட் அவருக்கு நேஷனல் செக்யூரிட்டி ஆகும். இந்தியாவோட மெடிக்கல் இன்ஃப்ராஸ்ட்ரக்சருக்கு 130 கோடி மக்கள் மீத காப்பாற்றுற சாமர்த்தியம் இருக்கா? அப்படி ஒருவேளை எக்ஸ்பர்ட் சொல்றது ஏத்துக்கிட்டா, நோ, இந்தியா can't do it. இந்தியா can't do it. இந்த நரேட்டிவை யார் உருவாக்குறாங்க? And why? அவங்க எதுக்காக போறாங்க? இது ரிவர்ஸ் இன்ஜினியரிங்ல லேப்ல உருவாக்கப்பட்டிருக்காங்க. நம்ம லேப்ல நாம எவ்வளவு பெற்று வச்சிருக்கோம். Because we pray, I can do it. ஒரு ராஜா இருந்தாராம். என்ன செஞ்சாலும் சாகவே மாட்டார். அந்த ராஜாவோட உயிர் ஒரு கிளியோட கழுத்துல இருந்ததாம். அந்த கிளியோட கழுத்தை தூக்கினதும் ராஜா இறந்து போயிட்டாராம். நம்ம ராஜாவோட உயிர் இந்த வேக்சின்ல மாட்டிக்கிட்டு.
எல்லாத்துக்கும் முதல்ல விடுவோம், எல்லாத்தை விட பாதுகாப்பா விடுவோம். பாரதத்தோட ஒரே ஒரு இண்டிஜீனியஸ் வேக்சின், இது பாரதத்தோட வேக்சின்.
Thank you so much. I would request all of you to watch this emotional, entertaining, true story, which is available now on the net as well. So you will enjoy it, and it will glorify the kind of bioscience that we do and what we work towards as young scientists in this country. So I will go ahead and tell you this story. Is this audible now? Yeah. So, well, the time the original treatment for tuberculosis and the single-port trial, the landmark trial for tuberculosis treatment was done in the 60s along with NIH at that point in time. First oral polio vaccine, they talked about rotavirus. First oral polio vaccine trial was done in the 60s, and then the low-cost protein energy malnutrition. And
7th of January of 2019, we had a meeting with the NPFL and the government regarding how we are preparedness and how we should start screening of example travel. That has been done after the 7th of January. This medical student was reached his hometown. We had to back his each and every contact who he met during the passport, during the airline, and then what those people. But before we broke the news to the nation, we took samples from this patient and sent them to an IV, and they were reconfirmed as COVID-19. And then on 27th January, we declared to the nation that this virus has been going out. That was a game changer because after that, we had the cabinet secretary constituted groups. There was a group of secretaries constituted, one for PPE, one for mask, one for oxygen, one for vaccine, one for education, one for quarantine center. Several things were created by the cabinet secretary and the secretary. And on top of the group of secretaries, there was a group of ministers. And the group of secretaries started meeting practically every day at the cabinet secretary's office in the and we were meeting every day to discuss what has to be done and what can be done. Now, our government approach was serious from the very beginning. We had this in January, February, we saw people dying in the United Kingdom, in Italy, in Sweden, in Spain, and also in Iran. These countries were burning at that time, other than China. And we had to set up testing facilities for our COVID-19. So once we did the first case testing at ICMR got into it in a big way because then I would like to thank my predecessors at ICMR who had the vision to set up a BSL-4 laboratory in 2010. In 2010, 2011, they set up the BSL-4 laboratory, which was the first BSL-4 laboratory in the Southeast Asian. Since 2010-11, no viral samples were going out of this country for testing. They were all being done at the BSL-4 laboratory in Iran. If you ever get an opportunity, you must visit it. There's electrical fencing, heavy security, because all the viruses are kept there, and it is a laboratory with negative pressure, and it's a amazing facility which was created at that time, purely by Indian engineers. They have created this facility. And we have requested the same people to develop a mobile Wuhan. So this Wuhan lab is the second DSL-4 laboratory established in the Southeast Asia region in 2017. So China was 7 years behind us as far as the DSL-4 laboratory is concerned. But our government realized that herd immunity is not the way. We clearly said that that is not working. People are dying in Sweden, people are dying in the United Kingdom, people are dying in Italy, where they feel that meeting everyone and exposing yourself to the virus is going to be the right thing. We did not embark on that path at all from the beginning. No herd immunity, we didn't believe in that. And our program was purely science driven. And as Dr. Asnan mentioned, we were given clear instructions by the leadership that science alone is going to be this fight against COVID-19. So, the 10 COVID highlights that the ICMR institutions did were mainly countrywide scaling up of diagnostic kits. Now, here I want to put things in perspective. We have limited diagnostic facilities. We have this BSL-4 laboratory. RT-PCR facilities were limited, and the kits were not available with us for testing. We got a handful of about 10,000 or so kits from WHO for a population of 1.4 billion. And we asked China, they said, if you don't buy the kits in the next 2 hours, we will die with 25. And we also got some useless kits as well from China at that time. But I would like to put on record an appreciation for our young scientists who did the startups that developed these kits by March, April. They had developed small companies and startups who had started manufacturing these kits, and we were self-sufficient by March for these kind of diagnostic kits. Setting up the laboratory, we scaled up BSL-2, we scaled up BSL-3, and also set up facilities in medical colleges so that the number of labs was increased tremendously. I'm talking to you about that. Diagnostic kits and 100% import to export. Nationwide zero survey, 4 rounds of nationwide zero survey was done by the scientists during the lockdown, wearing PPE masks, going from village to village, collecting blood samples to see the zero survey and talking to that. Indigenous vaccine development, virus isolation, 2 phase 3, 2 clinical animal studies. We published more than 350 research papers on COVID-19 because my philosophy was to tell all the institutes, whatever work has been done should be documented, and that is the most important thing. Then treatment guidelines, social behavior research on stigma, vaccine hesitancy, and innovative productivity as well. So this is the first BSL-4 laboratory. We see our earlier President of India, Balram, visiting this laboratory, and this is housed in NIV, National Institute of Virology at Pune. And I think these institutes of this NIV are the jewels of this nation, which we have to preserve and nurture and work together as we work for. So we were the 5th country in the world to isolate the virus. So February, we kept on asking WHO, we kept on asking Japan, we kept on asking the United Kingdom to give us the virus, but no one gave us the virus. On 5th of, in March, on the 11th of March, so we had a group of about 50 Italian tourists visiting Rajasthan, Agra, and Delhi, who were infected with COVID, and they were admitted with us. So we were able to get their samples and take those samples, send them to an culture, and we were able to isolate the virus at that time with us. And this happened on the 11th of March, or the 9th of March, 2020. So within a matter of 1.5 months, we actually got the virus. And this virus was given to Bharat Biotech on 31st of March. Quietly, and told to them to manufacture the virus vaccine. And they agreed to change their own and what happened like it talked to the top. We were the first country in the world to culture the alpha virus and also the beta virus. First country in the world. And they're all published in scientific journals. I have one small article, but just how it was done. It was documented all the legacy that this kind of work was being done at that point in time. This is how we have our testing strategy, and I told you that in February it was only RT-PCR and we were only testing some travelers. Then another interesting thing was the development of the TrueNat. And TrueNat is a classic example how portable molecular testing was developed by two scientists from Indian Institute of Science. They started the work in 2010. And then they gradually developed, funded by DBT, funded by CSIR, they were able to develop the TrueNAT machine for tuberculosis testing. Telangana, Andhra Pradesh were the first states to buy the maximum number of TrueNAT machines at that point in time. So these machines were available there. ICMR did an international trial in 2018 and got WHO qualification for TrueNAT for tuberculosis testing. Now, these machines were portable, already available, some 8,000 machines across the country. But they were repurposed within a matter of a month for using for COVID-19 testing. And this molecular, portable molecular testing we had in April, while the United Kingdom had another molecular test called DNA Nudge, which was marketed by them of September 2020. Much later, we were ahead and able to do that. June, we started the antigen test. Korea was the first country in the world to use antigen test. And we repurposed it and utilized it during the first outbreak of COVID-19 in New Delhi. And that was in June of 2020 when we used this rapid antigen to exclude patients of COVID-19. And that, again, congratulate the youngsters for scaling that up, rapid antigen testing in this country so that we could ultimately export these things to many countries that they were. We tested more than 900 million samples. The cost of the rapid antigen test was $1 per test, and the RT-PCR was $2 per test compared to what it was. It still is and was in the Western world at $200, $300 per test. So our Google mindset, low cost, gets maintaining the quality is probably our DNA, probably we are genetically endowed with low cost. I would just continue to remain that mindset. That is important. Much of the scientists were working in cruise ships in the laboratories and testing for COVID-19. This is about the TrueNAT, which was already approved and being used and repurposed it for COVID testing. This was used for the first time in the world for leptospirosis and also for Nipah testing and the TrueNAT. And that is also how all these published and used. This is on 8th of June 2020, we requested all via Gazette notification, all medical colleges should have a PSL to the laboratories. So here, carrot and stick was being used together. So these medical colleges were there and they had the capabilities to set up a PSL to the laboratory, and they were asked and forced to set them up very fast so that we could have an infrastructure, and that would be the infrastructure that was created. So now, on the 10th or 9th or 10th of March, we isolated the virus, and we were requesting the cabinet secretary that we need to have stoppage of all international travel. They restricted from China, they restricted from UK and from Italy, and limited countries that were restricted, but they did not do a pan international. So we kept on requesting the cabinet secretary that we have to stop international travel. We also said that we have a huge population of 1.4 billion, so we need to ramp up our health infrastructure. Testing is all right, but hospitals, hospital beds, oxygen, and quarantine centers, so we need to ramp up. So it's very wise if we have lockdown for a short period so that we prevent the spread of the virus. So when we repeatedly in the month of February, we were telling them, 10th of March, we said, just give me on one piece of paper or one A4 sheet what do you feel should be the recommendation for the COVID. So we gave them a one-page sheet of paper with 2 points on it. Stop all international travel. Second point, enforce a nationwide lockdown so that we can ramp up our health infrastructure. Just quote. We gave it to the government. He said there is tremendous clarity thought in your mind, it's just 2 points and one A4 sheet, and you're not writing details. I think that is the clarity that we have, and I think that is going to help the nation people. 18th of March, he said we have to make a presentation to the leadership. There were four or five people, the cabinet secretary, the fiscal secretary, five people presentation to the leadership. The leadership was listening carefully and asked a few questions. Are we going to go the Italy way? Are we going the same way in India? We said yes, we will go the same way, but if we reduce our travel and if we do a lockdown, we will not go like this, we may go like this. We may be able to flatten the curve a little bit and distribute the curves. Okay. The second thing we told them was we belong to a generation from they're the ones in Japan. We can miss a minute. We have been told and nurtured in that manner that total mindset, total eating, and total. So we will be happy to manage only with potatoes or only with the and we will manage as a nation. We just carefully listened and clearly made one statement that only science and that science is going to be this war. I didn't want to say something from science. This was very heartening for us. And after that, the very next day we enforced the contemporary and the lockdown. Now during the lockdown, there were 4 phases of the lockdown of 9 weeks. The ICMR became epicenter. What happened was, once we came to know about the lockdown, I immediately requested. In fact, many of the scientists were at the ICMR headquarters and staying in the ICMR guest house in the village. So about 40 young scientists were staying captive in our guest house at the Asian village and teaching at the ICMR headquarters lunch and dinner and going back and just to captive to other folks. So that was during the lockdown, and they were epidemiologists, biologists, oncologists, medicine people, and statistics people. So they were all working together. 18th of March, I constituted a national task force, again with 40 scientists from different institutes across the country. And these also included people from several domains. And this national task force, we informed to the Supreme Court that this is the national task force with the chairman of the or the member of the the chairperson, and the head secretary myself, and this was meeting every day, initially physically, and later on we see this starting various minutes matter. So what happened by default that the ICMR headquarters became the nerve center for COVID-19. We have the intelligence bureau, we have the research analysis wing, we have the Indian Railway, Indian Air Force, Indian Force. We were all stationed there, and they were mapping out where kits are to be delivered for testing, where even one helicopter would carry one PPE to any place. At that time, we had only 30-40 cases in India. I think at the time of lockdown, 47 cases we had in India, in the whole country. So it was quite a preemptive strike that we did, that we were able to do and try to control the movement of people. So our lockdown was quite a balanced one compared to what we saw in the West, where they did not listen to anyone, or the one we saw in China, where it was, a very draconian kind of a lockdown. So ours was a balanced lockdown, where I again congratulate the citizens of India who followed every advisory that happened in India, and this is what is happening. During the lockdown, our principle, and again, we had one advantage that our pandemic was at least 2 to 3 months later than what happened in UK, Italy, Spain, Iran, Sweden. So we were about 2 to 3 months late, so we could take their learnings. So we kept our windows open, kept our doors shut, and assimilated the knowledge, what was going on across the world, and then give it to give advice which were relevant to our country, practical for our country with a large population. But here is another little story which I want to tell, that in the month of February of 2020, we had some 6,000 Shia pilgrims from Kargil who were stranded in Iran and Qom. They go to Qom, which is the holy site, and probably the best prophets in the world are active in Qom. If you compare with me, then they are probably the best in the world, and the most expensive prophets in the world. Qom. Lot of artisans and lot of caliber there. So these 6,000 tourists were coming, and we got a request of the order from the government of India that ICMR has to set up testing laboratories. So at that time, February, as I mentioned, Iran was there were too many percent. If we set up a lab in the city in Iran, they would want their own people to be tested rather than anyone else. Within a matter of 24 hours, we had 6 scientists and technicians leave India with all the equipment, including the food and everything. And we decided to set up the laboratory in the basement of the Indian Embassy at Tehran. All the 6,000 samples were collected. All those who were negative were flown immediately by special flights of Iran Airlines and the Indian Air India and Indian Air Force for evacuation, and they were taken again to the quarantine center. Now, February, we had meeting with the cabinet secretary how to set up quarantine center. We had the BSF, we had the ITBP, we had the Indian Army. We were meeting regularly. Quarantine Air Force bases at Jaisalmer, at Jodhpur, at Indian Air Force Base, they were all set up. This was 4 months. They had to set up blankets, they had to set up heating, they had to set up food, in these quarantine places. All that was created overnight by the government. And I think that is something which is very critical. And so these people were brought back there immediately and repatriated into Iran. Now, during the month of February, March, April, testing was major, and testing we were pretty much in control by April or so. So testing was not a huge issue, but it was scaled up massively in multiples of hundreds that we were able to scale up immediately. But if you look at before vaccine came, what were the treatments available for the COVID? Only 3 major contributions in the world, I would say, which were responsible for COVID-19 treatment. One was a randomized trial done by the United Kingdom called the recovery trial, which clearly demonstrated that steroids reduce mortality in COVID-19. They've done a quick randomized trial and showed that it is working. That was one major contribution to the world that COVID treatment is working. Second was remdesivir by WHO and for the solidarity trial, where India was also a part of it, and that was led by the US. It was demonstrated that remdesivir reduces the hospital stay of patients with COVID-19. And the third was the convalescent plasma trial, which was done by India, clearly democratized research. It was done under video control from the ICMR headquarters. 400 patients were randomized, and we clearly demonstrated that, and these were not the top elite institutes of the country, these were district hospitals, civil hospitals, which were connected, and where we were able to get these patients and tell them this one will get convalescent plasma depending on all proper randomization, fully scientific, published in British Medical Journal, 2 editorials commenting on how India, along with the US and United Kingdom, have demonstrated to the world that these are the 3 treatments available for COVID-19. I think from that perspective, I might again put a lesson that India was able to again create. Then we had once we had got the virus on the 11th of March, we realized that it opens up immense opportunities for testing, for antibodies, for vaccines, and then we did what we call we developed the first ELISA kit for COVID-19, and that was again developed by 2 pharma agencies, who during the lockdown were working between Ahmedabad and Pune by road. Every week they were traveling and they were able to develop it in 3 weeks. And we used the same thing for doing the largest civil survey ever in the world, which demonstrated in 700 villages across 70 districts and 21 states of India. And we did 4 rounds of this survey. The first was in May, again during the lockdown. All the scientists from ICMR and technical people went into these villages, collected blood samples, very quickly units, and collected these samples from these individuals and demonstrated to the country that 99.3%, only 0.7 was the president at that time. 99.3% of the Indian population is still vulnerable. Now, this was very difficult for the government to digest. They thought that well, we get our energy and we make it. But we clearly told them that we have to follow us because 99.3%, this was the government said that we will tell the population that there will be a hue and cry. But no, there won't be a hue and cry. People will start wearing masks and start realizing that we are still not got the disease and we have not got the silent disease, we haven't got the disease, so we are not protected. So we need to do some protection and masks is the only way. This was a huge game changer in the uptake of the mask. And then we did the other surveys in August, September, and again, everything was all documented and published. Then the development of the vaccine, as the rotavirus vaccine was developed in Bharat Biotech, there was we had an example where Bharat Biotech had worked with the company. So we realized that the private-public partnership will probably be the right way to work to develop a vaccine. And it was based on trust, transparency, timeliness, and mutual respect between Bharat Biotech and FCMR that we went on. We gave them the virus candidate on the 31st of March. They gave us a vaccine candidate on the 30th of April, within a month. Rather, they gave us 3 candidates. We gave one and 2, one and 3, and one and 3, So for us, we tested them on rats, we tested them on mice, and also on hamster. And that is when we followed 2 approaches from the ICMR. One was an approach of leveraging India's scientific powers. And that was to develop an in-country vaccine. We can develop a virus vaccine because we have experience with that. And although it cannot be scaled up that fast, but that is time tested and we know about it. mRNA was coming up at that point in time. We didn't have that technology at that point in time. And although glyco-BB was a DNA vaccine, which we have some reservations that we did discuss with the government. It was the first DNA vaccine. The DNA vaccine was developed in 1995 for various other diseases, but never utilized the DNA because they had their own issues. The second approach was leveraging international science, wherein we had the Oxford vaccine, AstraZeneca vaccine. Before Oxford had given it to AstraZeneca, we were in touch with Oxford regularly on video conference call and discussing. They wanted the virus from us, which we agreed to give them. They wanted us to participate in the trial safety, and we also helped them with the big study for folks. And we believe that Serum has the largest manufacturing facility, supplying so much of the vaccine to the US system for many years, so we will be able to scale this up. So ultimately, they had their business to do whatever with AstraZeneca, and then we got that vaccine with insurance. So once we identified the vaccine candidate, we did the preclinical studies in small animals for safety, immunity, and dosage, and we used a new adjuvant, which featured as a cover story of iScience. This was never used, and we used it for the first time, and this adjuvant was used. And then we have to do the preclinical studies in the monkeys. Now, this is another interesting story because animal activists, we have difficulty in doing monkey studies. So within a matter of 24 or 48 hours, we got permission from CPCSA, from the animal husbandry and the environment, that we could capture monkeys from there. No facility was built in these monkeys. So we could capture monkeys from there. At ICMR and IB, we had about 4 or 5 old monkeys which were there, which had no immunity, and living them was absolutely not possible. So we took about a week, 10 days to capture these monkeys. And to capture these monkeys, we had a team from ICMR and IB and from the Ministry of Animal Husbandry, and they together went to capture these monkeys. Because these monkeys could not be captured from the city because of the lockdown. So all the monkeys didn't get any food, but they had left. They were in the forest, so they were away. So from the Maharashtra to the Karnataka border and also to the Andhra Pradesh border, they were able to capture these monkeys. Get them back to land. When the air conditioning cages which were made again in 2010, state of the art, they were kept there. But now we were not from a breeding facility. How do we have to buy an extra machine overnight? We did all the biochemical tests within 48 hours, for all the tests done, ensured they did the EGRA test for PD, ensured their health, that they are healthy, and then we were able to study them. But before studying, at that point in time, we received, just after capturing the monkey, we received letters from certain animal activists in the country that we have been told that you're going to capture monkeys. Now, Ashwin, I said we are not going to capture, we are already captured. So we are not going to capture. So we decided to them that we are not going to capture. We are already captured. Monkeys to be there. So that was the time. But that happened. That point in time, the world was concentrating on human challenge study. Several UK universities, including Oxford and all, have told them that we will do human challenge studies. Now, ethically, we were not convinced that human challenge studies. There were several activists in India who also wanted to do human challenge studies. Now, for a virus where you don't know what is the outcome, how everyone will perform, how can we do human challenge studies? So what we did was that they also said that we will have citizens from different parts of the world, and they will be on a ship, and they will be challenged on a ship, and they will be tested there, so that they're not on any land, any country there. All kinds of ideas have come to different. But ultimately, the human challenge study did not happen. So the only thing was to test them on monkeys, which are closest and primate study. Now, how do we do that? We got the monkeys, they were in air conditioned cages, the health was ensured, healthy monkeys. Now, what to do? We didn't have a pulmonologist at Pune. So how do we do? We flew via Indian Airport plane, one pulmonologist was scientist team at the ICMR headquarters. We said we'll fly and stay captive in the ICMR guest house in Pune for a month till the monkeys were there. We contacted CTC Pune, the Army Cardiovascular Center. One pulmonologist from there was also locked in the ICMR guest house for a month to do the animal study. Monkeys were given the vaccine, and then they were anesthetized, and the virus was given by bronchoscopy in anesthetized monkeys in the third generation of the bronchi. Virus was given. Every day, bronchoalveolar lavage, anesthetized monkeys, samples were collected to see if the virus had. At 14 days, we found that no virus. That was the game changer, and we found that these monkeys were responsible for showing to us that the vaccine is working. This was again all happening during the lockdown period. And the whole country is started, and this is happening at ICMR and every place. Now, this monkey business was successfully accomplished, and we were ready to go into humans. And that is when we were able to send this paper on the monkey study. These monkeys were sacrificed, their brain was studied, their liver was studied, their heart was studied for any other problems, and this paper was sent to public. Somehow these animal activists came to know about our publication. They wrote to the journal, but they are not probably data. India working against India. Last week. So what we did, we sent all the health certificates of the animals, including the X-rays, to the journal and publishing the products. And now, interesting point is that most of the monkey studies across the world are done from monkeys from China. Each monkey is sold for $500, including the Covishield AstraZeneca vaccine was done, monkey study was done on monkeys from China and the United States and the USA. Now, after the strain relations between China and US, each monkey is being exported to US at $4,000. And during this COVID-19, we have been able to set up in this beautiful city, the National Animal Research Facility, where we have started breeding monkeys, and a Sasalnagar facility in Bombay, in the west, where they also started breeding. So now we have enough monkeys in there in India for study, and I think that is another set of things that we have achieved and we continue to do. Then we did the phase 1 trial and the phase 2 trial and the phase 3 trial, and I'll talk about the phase 3 trial in the phase 2. So this will be two vaccines which got through the big trials, and then ultimately the world started using the vaccine on 16th of December, and we started using on 16th of January of 2021. We started within a matter of 9 months. We had a vaccine which was used in the country. So we clearly are known as the pharmacy of the world, but we established that now India is a vaccine superpower, and with co-vaccine also proved that we could manufacture vaccine purely indigenous without any international support, guidance, or products from start to finish, 100% indigenous with no, yes, training of some of the scientists was from abroad, but everything was 100% indigenous. That was what happened with the group. And this is a photograph, and I'd like any one of you to guess what is being given by the High Commissioner of Canada at the Bombay seaport to the first Health Minister of India, Rajkumari Amritsar. Has been given a box. Anyone, what is this box? This is 1942. Second World War was just over. Second World War led to the discovery of penicillin. A handful of penicillin was given to India, the facility from China, from Canada to India. And after that, Hindustan antibiotics was established, and penicillin was manufactured in India indigenously, and that led to another spark of Indian pharma industry happening. In 2021, we exported this vaccine to more than 100 countries, including Canada. So that is why I wanted to give this on. For this vaccine, government support was timely, right from funding to preclinical studies, to clinical studies, to laboratory studies, to epidemiological studies, rolling regulatory review by the drug controller, advanced purchase orders by the government from these companies, at-risk manufacturers by these companies, raw material import, and expedited batch testing and release. We had only one facility at Kasauli testing, batch testing. Then we set up 3 or 4 facilities, and one of them is here, and also at Noida. Now, this is, we had only completed phase 2 of our vaccine, and we were criticized for utilizing the vaccine on humans only on the basis of phase 2. So there was a gazette notification much before COVID-19. In 1919, the new clinical trial rules clearly stated that for drugs intended to be used in disease of special relevance or serious disease or rare disease or life-threatening condition, you can use on the basis of phase 2. We leveraged this board of notification and was able to utilize the vaccine on the basis of phase 2. This is the National Task Force, which was established in 18th March, which was guiding calibration, testing, oversight, and how we are going to do this. We had the evidence, we had several evidences and protocols given 14 languages to different parts of the world, and then we had more than 350 publications. We had the mask, and we clearly said that mask is going to be protective when every other country will argue whether mask is protective or not protective. Again, the Indian citizen was the most well behaved, did not argue too much and picked up the mask and used it very well. And again, we didn't have the N95 mask initially, but within a matter of weeks, we were exporting it to many parts of the world. And that is where, again, there was a special group, like the story I told about with the vaccine or testing, there's a separate story of that for masks as well as for PPE kits. So we know that vaccine does not prevent, but vaccination prevents serious disease. And if you look at the Omicron wave, 92% of the deaths that occurred in the Omicron wave were people who were unvaccinated. So vaccination prevents serious disease and death. Clearly, it does not prevent the disease, but it will prevent the serious disease and death. And you know that 28,000 cold chain points, 2.3 million ASHA workers, 350,000 public and 28,000 private vaccination centers were utilized for this vaccine. And we had more than, I don't know how many million doses, 3 or 4 million doses of this vaccine were given. More than 98% of our population was vaccinated. And when we look at the Omicron, we find that India was much lower compared to Russia, United Kingdom, Brazil, United States, Canada, South Africa, and in terms of number of cases, and also in terms of the number of deaths, because of the large proportion of our vaccine. There have been estimates by Stanford University and from Harvard that by this vaccination and the lockdown, we were able to prevent about 34 lakh deaths in India. So that is what is there. Then this is the mobile PSF3. When we had the first Nipah outbreak in 2018, when I joined ICMR, I was requested to have a limited facility in Alapura in Kerala. So we said we must make a portable, a mobile PSF3 laboratory. And then we requested the WHO, they were not able to provide us anything. Germany, the US had one which used to travel by planes and then it has to be assembled. We don't have facilities in remote areas for aeroplanes to land. How will we assemble those? So we asked the person who set up the DSM-4 laboratory to start with. Started manufacturing it in 2018, 19, during COVID-19, and 2022 to give us this state-of-the-art Mercedes-Benz chassis. You go inside, it's like Apollo 11, negative pressure, shower, everything is inside this. And this brand, the PSF, about several of these have been made. And we have one part in Gorakhpur for the enterprises. And that travels from Gorakhpur to Paro in Bhutan in a matter of 36 hours. And we demonstrated it to all the health ministers of the Southeast Asia region and promised to give them one each as part of software diplomacy, which the DSM-3 mobile DSM-3 laboratory. And this was recently used in the Nipah outbreak this year at the lab. So then from Pune, in a matter of 4 or 5 hours, it take out 10, 12 hours. It was in Kerala and it was utilized for Nipah testing 100% reliable. This is the drone outreach and I drone project, ICMR drone response and outreach in the Northeast. And here is where the first time in the world we have delivered vaccines by drones. These drones were tested at the Kanpur IIT because the Kanpur IIT has an airstrip and you can actually apply for a private pilot license while you're a student there if you're training there. So that airstrip was utilized for testing the drones, temperature and all those. And we used the drones. First trip was from Vishnupur to in the Loktak Lake, which is the largest freshwater lake in Asia. This freshwater lake, you have to travel 26 kilometers by road from Vishnupur, then 3 kilometers by boat, and then 2 kilometers by walking. Minimum 3 hours it will take to reach. We do these for the first was done by drone in a matter of 15 minutes. We covered with 12.5 kilometers, and we clearly send the vaccine from areas from hill to valley, from hill to hill, from land to land, from land to foothill, from valley to valley, and demonstrated.
Now the helicopter has landed. You'll see now the There's a release mechanism where they release the thing. When you see the helicopter, the medicine is
automatic release mechanism and the vaccine for delivered by it. And this is a small cartoon which one of our scientists made that this is a virus which has gone to a very remote island to say that I will be safe here. And suddenly the virus feels that the drone is coming in. And then we see that it's back. Important to remember 28 of our colleagues we lost. ICMR colleagues we lost during this COVID-19, which included technicians, scientists, and also certain other staff who we pay tribute to and thank them for saving lives of children. So thank you for your attention, the rarest and the purest form of development.
That you have any question answer, but I think people like to interact with the permission of Bhargava. Sure, many things.
And to say that Indian science is really sensitive and before just keep up to these are the
Yeah.
some students with the
And then you're boarding. And then you're Thank you. And in particular, having been very active, we have a lot of stories in it and physical and COVID and vaccine. So it was very difficult for us to actually know that the government was working. So in fact, I'm very thankful and it's an important lecture for all of us because we are all going to carry the science forward. Thank you. Thank you.
There was a time where they went to active, not active. There was a phase where they were like the students going up. We don't recognize. So, could you share a light on that? What happened in the school? Thank you very much. It was a delightful. So we have now started talk that COVID is now over and COVID is not. But I was really believe it. Because nobody has ever known. And we have to COVID and the impact of COVID is still happening. So what is ICMR was Indian Medical Council. The first shows actually only the COVID post-COVID pandemic. The epidemic scales and the physiological scale right now. So as the student is running out of the where we see the act of factor that was the origin that had more advantage compared to cooking. Like let's tell us why you put that in. There is several only one. I don't believe it's more work. Thank you.
Still, let's save time. May I request everybody to kind of join us on pictures. Of course, Bhargava has very little time, so it's carry on. Please carry on.
Okay. Okay. So on the behalf of event organizing committee, I'm glad to be standing here to express vote of thanks. So on this occasion, I would like to quote a famous biochemist, Albert Georgi, and I quote, so nobody knows. Just look at this picture.